Yeah, I think getting used to conditions is as players of this era are we a lot quicker in getting used to it now. We play a lot of cricket in India. The majority of the squad plays IPL cricket, so for us it's no longer foreign conditions. We know what to expect here. The prospect of the team, I think our results speak for itself over the last few series in the subcontinent. We've played some really good cricket in these conditions. So although we're a little bit disappointed about our loss against Australia last night, it feels like 2 hours ago. We are very confident moving into this World Cup in these conditions. We know that if we do play our best cricket, we'll be there and thereabouts and taking that trophy home.
Steve, you say that this T20 World Cup will be the most open one. That's what everybody is saying. Simply for the fact that the first World Cup was played in South Africa in 2007-8, and almost all the other leagues in the world, the IPL, the Big Bash, so many other leagues, ran parallel to it and almost. So do you think all the teams are better prepared this time for the sixth T20 World Cup?
Yes, I think so. I think, like you said, this is probably the most open it's ever been. I do think that India will still be favourites, just where we play and obviously the form that the Indian team is. But yeah, it's going to be a real open pool in both groups. And no longer is there any more easy games. We've seen countless times that as you can call them, the minnows, they're not that anymore. In T20 cricket, anyone can beat anyone on any day. So we're looking forward to this competition. I think it's going to be a real cracker.
IFAF. The fact that South Africa hasn't done as well as they could have in ICC tournaments, does that still bother you guys?
Not, to be honest with you, not at all. T20 cricket is such a on-the-day performance. It's how you react to different pressure moments in the game. There's already so much to be worried about. For me personally, and I know for this team, that's not something we even talk about or think about. Obviously, from a spectator point of view and a media point of view, there'll be once again a lot said about it. But T20 cricket is very quick on the field. There's a lot happening, and there's so many moments in the game that you can win or lose it. So for me, it's just about we've shown over a period of time now that we play better in pressure moments, and we've done that well as a T20 team especially. So I'd like to think that we've overcome that hurdle mentally.
Faf, is there one aspect of your team that you are a bit concerned about, or you think all bases are covered?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think this series against Australia we used especially to try and make sure that every area was covered. That's why the team changed a little bit every game. So as a captain, no, I don't feel any area. I feel we're a very well balanced team. I feel that this is probably the most balanced squad we've had, and not just the 11 playing. We've got some real depth in our squad. If you look at guys like in the previous game, Hashim Amla, or 2 games ago, Hashim Amla didn't play. Dale Steyn is just back. So yeah, we've got some great names in our squad and guys that are, it's competitive to try and to get in that first 11. So yeah, I think, like I said, for the first time we've got a real great balance and every single area is covered.
You think the tag of chokers a bit uncharitable?
What's that last word? Sorry.
Chokers tag is a bit uncharitable. Do you think?
No, I think it's fair. Like the only way you'll ever get that monkey off your back is if we do win a trophy. I do think in T20 cricket it's less of like I said before, there's not much time to even think about stuff like that. But one day when that changes, that's the only time that people will stop asking that question. So for now, this team hasn't been thinking of that at all. We're just trying to play some good cricket. And the important thing for me is in the build-up to this World Cup, like I said, there's been real pressure moments. This team has stood up and played well, and that's the only way you can get rid of that, is to perform under pressure. And I suppose that's the 2 or 5% difference that you get in a World Cup. It's just a little bit more pressure. So for me, it's about our preparation has been good. And then if it happens, hopefully we'll have to stop answering that question.
Hi, Faf. Like you said in the Australia, against Australia, you said you guys used a lot of combinations, but on top we saw in Cape Town, Hashim Amla did really well in that game. So is it going to be Quinton and Amla, or is it going to be AB and Amla? Is there a call taken yet?
Yeah, it's a tough one. As I said in a press conference in South Africa, that World Cup T20 especially, it's about guys that are in form. So for me, the guys that are doing well, you have to consider getting them somehow into your team. Almost you pick the guys that are in form first, and then you sort your combination out secondly. So Hashim batted really well. He's in good form. So he's put his name on the hat right at the top.
Faf, you played very good cricket in the ODI series and T20s against India, but suffered heavy defeats in the test matches. Is your squad carrying those mental scars? Because those defeats, even though the pitches were supposedly doctored, those defeats were very bad. So are you carrying those scars?
We did carry a little bit of the scars straight after the test series, and as a team I think we were lacking in confidence, as you probably would have seen in the series against England with the test matches. We didn't play our best cricket, and that's what happens when you suffer a heavy defeat. But that's out of our system now. We've played some great cricket against England, and very good cricket against Australia as well. It was just one or two things that we could have done better. So no, I don't see any of those. The majority of the squad is obviously nice and mature now, and half of the squad wasn't even here for the test squad. So yeah, that was more of the ghost of that tour was more straight after the tour than with us now.
Faf, at the back. The Maria Sharapova issue has put the issue of doping in sport into the spotlight. I wanted to ask you personally, how many times have you been tested in the last year? And do you think that prominent cricketers need to do more in the fight against doping? And do you think that cricket is clean?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for me to say what's happening in our sport. I'm not sure what's happening. Obviously we try and whatever the sport that we're in, we know that we have to keep it clean, so we'll do whatever we can. I do think cricket is one of those sports that possibly there's not as much to gain from getting any of those stuff in your system. To have big guns in cricket doesn't really count that much. But as a team and as a sport, it's important for us, like you said, wherever we can, we'll try and make people aware how important it is. It's a very big thing in today's sport, and we want nothing to do with those sort of things.
Faf, as captain, how much of confidence do you get when you know your bowlers like numbers 8 and 9, David Vise and Chris Morris can even win you games with the bat?
Yeah, that's something. Sorry, about a year and a half ago, that's something we really looked at, and we found that all-rounders was an area of one of the boxes we needed to tick. And for me, that the longer you can make your batting lineup, the successful teams that I've been a part of in T20 cricket's always had those long batting lineups, and that's what makes us a really strong team. I feel with the two of them there coming in, that it makes our batting lineup really, really powerful.
If you said that barring one or two questions, you would tick the rest of the boxes against Australia. Could you talk about those one or two questions which left?
Yeah, sure. Just the basics. I mentioned, especially with the ball, I feel in the series we did really well with the bat. And in moments we were under pressure, we came out of it. One or two moments of basics cost us the game in the second T20 at the Wanderers. And that's amazing how T20 cricket works. The series, we lost the game with the last ball where they scampered for 2, and then all of a sudden 2 days later you lose the series. So it's important for me that those basics happens. We focus on them first and foremost, especially in a World Cup. If you can do the basics well, and there was a lot of wides and no balls being bowled, and that's a big basic in T20 cricket. So that's one of the areas.
Faf, in the last series, we saw that the team chased down totals really well, both in the ODIs as well as the T20s. But do you think maybe defending totals is one area where team needs to tighten up?
Yeah, same thing as I said before. That probably about a year ago or 6 months ago, we were a team that weren't chasing very well. And we sat down and spoke about it, and our chase record has improved hugely, and we've chased games of cricket down really well. Now 1 or 2 losses by defending, it doesn't mean that makes you a bad defending team, but before we were actually a really good team defending the game. So it's just nice that we can sit down now and obviously look at that and see that's an area we want to improve once again, and get better in that, and with doing that we'll defend well again. Thank you, guys.